Have you ever heard about the thousands of babies born right after World War II? With German mothers and African American fathers? Their stories are a fascinating, often overlooked chapter of history, revealing unexpected connections forged in the ruins of war. Let's travel back to 1945. The war in Europe is over, and Germany is occupied by the Allied forces. Among them are over 100,000 African American soldiers. For these men, arriving in Germany was a surreal experience. Back home in America, they faced segregation and discrimination under Jim Crow laws. But in defeated Germany, they suddenly found themselves in a position of authority, treated with a level of respect they had never known. Imagine being a soldier who, just weeks before, couldn't even share a water fountain with a white person. Now, you're part of an occupying army, and the local population, including German women, looks at you not with disdain, but with a mix of fear, curiosity, and sometimes even admiration. This was a world turned upside down. For many German women, the situation was equally complex. Their country was shattered. Their men were either dead, captured, or missing, and the future was terrifyingly uncertain. The Allied soldiers represented not just conquest, but also survival. They had access to food, supplies, and a sense of security that was otherwise non-existent. In this desperate environment, relationships began to form. These weren't simple, black-and-white love stories. They were born from a complex cocktail of loneliness, trauma, and the basic human need for connection. For the African-American soldiers, it was a chance to experience a social freedom they were denied at home. They could date, dance, and be seen in public with white women without fearing for their lives. For the German women, or Frugalines, as they were called, these relationships could be a lifeline. A soldier boyfriend might provide coffee, chocolate, or nylon stockings, luxuries that were impossible to find. More importantly, he could offer protection and a brief escape from the grim reality of post-war life. Of course, not everyone was happy about these unions. The American military brass was deeply uncomfortable. They brought their own racial prejudices with them to Germany. The army officially banned fraternization, but this rule was inconsistently enforced and widely ignored. White American soldiers were also dating German women, but the relationships involving black soldiers drew special condemnation. Military leaders feared that these interracial relationships would undermine the racial hierarchy they were so keen to maintain, both in the army and back home. They worried what would happen when these soldiers, having tasted a different kind of freedom, returned to a segregated America. The German public was also divided. Some saw these women as traitors, consorting with the enemy, and particularly with black men, which Nazi propaganda had relentlessly demonized. These women often faced public shaming and ostracism from their own communities. Yet, behind closed doors, many families quietly accepted these arrangements as a pragmatic means of survival. A daughter with an American soldier boyfriend meant more food on the table for everyone. It was a silent, desperate compromise made by a defeated people. But let's not discount the possibility of genuine affection. Amidst all the hardship in politics, real feelings did blossom. Many letters and interviews from the time speak of true love and deep emotional bonds. Couples fell in love, shared their hopes and fears, and dreamt of a future together. For a brief moment, in the ruins of the Third Reich, these men and women created their own world, free from the prejudices that defined both of their societies. They found common ground in their shared humanity, a powerful testament to the idea that love can indeed cross any border, even one as heavily fortified as the color line. One particularly poignant story highlights the stark contrast between the soldiers' experiences. A group of German women was tasked with cleaning the barracks for an incoming unit of American soldiers. Expecting white soldiers, they were stunned when a company of African-American men arrived instead. A German foreman, reflecting the propaganda they'd been fed, warned the women to be careful, implying they were in danger. Later, the women were ordered to clean the showers while the soldiers were using them. The women were terrified, but they needed the work. As they nervously approached the shower block, a black sergeant stopped them. He understood their fear and the awkwardness of the situation. He turned to his men and announced, "We will not shower in front of these ladies. We will wait until they are finished." The soldiers all agreed. The women, who had braced themselves for the worst, were so moved by this display of dignity and respect that many of them broke down and cried. In that moment, The monstrous image created by propaganda was shattered, replaced by the reality of decent, honorable men. This single act of kindness did more to change their hearts and minds than any official order could have. As the years passed, thousands of children were born from these relationships. Te werekayed, Mishlingskinder, or more cruelly, occupation babies. Life was incredibly difficult for them. They grew up in a society that was just beginning to grapple with its own role in the war, and they often faced severe racism. They didn't fully belong to the German world of their mothers, nor to the American world of their fathers, many of whom had long since returned home. Their very existence was a visible reminder of a complicated and often painful past. These children, now adults, have spent their lives navigating a complex identity, caught between two cultures. Many have searched for their American fathers, seeking answers and a sense of belonging. Their journeys are stories of resilience, identity, and the enduring legacy of war. Looking back, this unique chapter of history offers a powerful lesson. It shows how human connection can defy even the most rigid social and racial barriers. For the African American soldiers, their time in Germany was a paradoxical experience. They were occupiers in a foreign land, yet they found a personal freedom they lacked in their own. For the German women, these relationships were a complex mix of survival, rebellion, and genuine affection. And for their children, life was a struggle to find their place in a world that wasn't quite ready for them. The story of the black soldiers in the German Furglands is not just a footnote to World War II. It's a deeply human story about love, prejudice, and the surprising ways history unfolds. It reminds us that even in the darkest of times, people will always find a way to reach out and connect with one another. Thank you for watching, and if you found this story as fascinating as I did, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more hidden histories.